Minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Welcome back, everybody, to the GetBack Podcast. I'm your host, Damian Dustin, here with
Aiden Jones. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen.
and welcome to episode 57 of the GetBack Podcast. We're back.
Consistently back. I know we took a little bit of breaks, but we consistently back, though. We did last week. Don't do that.
I like the Sunday podcast. I'm excited for the NFL season to start.
Yeah,
Once we get into that, I feel like it's going to be real good. But we do have some crazy basketball going on right now, as well as some UFC that I want to talk about a little later in the podcast. Yeah. But first things first, I think we got to talk ball. We got to talk about these conference finals for all the teams.
Yeah.
We got to talk about what's going on. First of all, I want to hop into the Eastern Conference Finals. Eastern Conference Finals that before it started, we thought it would be a little bit more competitive than what it was. But I think from what we've seen from the Knicks is kind of what we expected of what we were going to get, at least on my end.
Yeah.
From what you've seen from the Knicks so far with that 3-0 lead, do you think this is something that you expected, or did you expect the Cavs to respond a little better to the Knicks offense?
I'm going to two different aspects. Yeah. I expected it a little bit, yes, because they have not lost in pretty sure over a month.
Yep.
After Atlanta did whatever they did in the first couple of games, they have been lights out. I mean, they have had the best chemistry, at least out of all Eastern teams, and they just look like they wanted a little bit more.
Yeah.
Did I expect the Cavs to come out a little bit more heavy after going to Game 7 with the Raptors, going to Game 7 with Detroit? Yes. So both aspects, I did expect something a little bit different. How about yourself?
I did expect the Knicks offense to continue to roll. I'm surprised at their defense. Obviously, they've always kind of been a good defensive team. Obviously, getting better with Cat trying to figure out his whole being a foul trouble center.
Yeah. He doesn't really fall in the category after the regular season anymore.
Yeah,
he has
really
completely transcended his game.
He has, and I think that's probably the main perpetrator for the Knicks' success.
Oh, yeah.
We always talked about it. Brunson is going to Brunson. You're going to need that second guy to really step forward, and I think it's been Cat. And it's been Mikal Bridges. I think Mikal Bridges, to a guy that we have really – I think it's worth to say we've shat on him for a lot of the season for just being inconsistent and not putting up the numbers that he should, being worth the 3 first-round picks. 22, 19, 18. That's what you need from him. That's all you need from him, and he's delivered.
I got a little bit different. I would say Cat and OG. I think
like
OG is it's been basically all playoffs where OG goes from regular season of him barbecuing whenever he really needs. So it's not like he forced anything. When you need it, you can always pass OG. He's mostly going to give you a nasty mid-range, a nasty 3, or even a nasty dunk package, whatever he wants. He's a 3-level scorer. But it's also his defense. Like, he completely knows how to lock. Like, when he went there, we called him, a 3-and-D wing?
Yeah.
It's a 3-level 3-and-D wing now at this point. Like, he's pretty good on all aspects of the court at the moment.
Yeah, OG is kind of playing that. I actually am comparing. I think he's Kawhi light. He's a Kawhi Leonard light.
I mean, yeah. Who's the person that he learned from basically in all his early years?
Yeah.
Even that 1 year with Kawhi changed OG's game forever.
Of course. And yeah, to your point, the 3-point shooting from OG has been great, as well as his 3-level scoring.
Right.
My next question to you would be is this. Obviously, the Cleveland Cavaliers are down 3-0, but this isn't uncharted territory for them. This is a team that man, this is a team.
We're not and I'm not gonna cut you off, bro. But it's over. I'm not gonna be biased. I'm not gonna be butthurt.
Let's deal in the game of hypotheticals really quick.
Talk to me.
If the Cavaliers were to let's win a game. Let's win one game first. What do they need to do to at least slow down this red hot Knicks team right now?
Slow down the Knicks' pace on both ends. Like the Knicks, when their offense is pretty fast paced, where they always are looking for the next pass. It doesn't really necessarily stop. If Jalen Brunson gets the ball, it's always a switch and screen and pick and roll. But it's always at a very fast pace. You go to the defensive side, they're very handsy. They're very always switching off, always on a fast pace. That's something you have to somehow slow it down. You also got to make your shots. I mean, you have to simply make shots. The Cavs, I don't think that it's that much of a chance at this point. But I would agree. If you win one, it could be whatever you want it to picture out to be. So I guess so.
Yeah, and I think another thing for the Cavaliers is they've picked their poison this series, and I think that they've just picked it incorrectly.
Yeah.
They've kind of made a concerted effort to, hey, Josh, if you want to shoot threes, shoot threes, and he's making three-pointers a game. He's averaging
He,
three
he,
three-pointers a
he
game.
is. That's what I'm saying. And now, mind you, he'll shoot about 8 of them. So it'll be like 3 of 8, but those 3,
Sure.
they're very, very effective.
But I believe that Cleveland is leaving him too open to where that leads to some driving opportunities. He's
Right.
averaging 20 points in the series. He's averaging 19 and a half, 5.5 boards, 5.5 assists, 1.5 steals.
But where does that stem from?
I think it stems from Cleveland genuinely giving him too much space to operate.
It stems from Jalen Brunson requiring almost 2 players on him. When and I know we're gonna talk about the West later. It's almost kind of the same thing like where OKC kind of has with Alex Caruso. When you have so much of a good player, especially at a guard where he's always on the perimeter and he can make his own shot efficiently by himself, that's where it requires more than one person to kind of stick with him, especially like I said with those pick and rolls. So when you're switching over, somebody's gonna be open on the corner, and that for some person is always Josh Hart.
I agree to an extent.
Yeah.
Because while I totally understand, I do understand where you're coming from. I genuinely just believe Cleveland in the games that I've watched the games that Cleveland is just allowing Josh Hart to basically own his own part of the court. And that creates up real estate to either drive to the cup, get a foul. We've seen him do that to slow down the pace of whatever run Cleveland can go on. And it allows him to play make as well. The 5.5 assists, I genuinely believe because that's nobody's guarding him. It gives him these.
That's the thing, but
it gives him space to find cutters.
I really hope he is being guarded. It's Josh Hart making his own plays. Like sometimes if Josh Hart gets the ball in the 3, like you said, he'll be open, whatever. When he's trying to drive in, that is usually Josh Hart finessing his way to the paint. I mean, it could be a spin move, a Euro step. He's somehow getting around, and if he gets around and there's still someone there like Jared Allen or Evan Mobley, then he has a kick out. That's where the assists come from, where he's actually a playmaker while still being a driver.
I totally agree. And to hit on your part about, comparing the Jalen Brunson to Shai, that's a great comparison because Brunson actually passes Shai for the most playoff games over the last 3 years.
Right.
Brunson in his last 7 playoff games, 30, 19, 38, 22, 33, 26, 35. And mind you, he's had 5 assists on over 6 of those games.
I mean, the game that he scored 13, or what was it? I think he had like a lower score game in game 2.
But he still had
he had 13
assists.
He had 13, and this goes back to last week where I said that Jalen Brunson, he's a scorer. Don't get it twisted. The 75% and 80% of this whole season, he has been score first, whatever. Since he's gotten the playoffs, he looks for his guys, and it just looks so much more cleaner. It looks cleaner where he actually can be a scorer and also be a playmaker, and it's working. It's working.
I think that's been a lot of the superstars in the playoffs. So I feel like
adapting.
Yes, I feel like being able to adapt to the game, and that's what separates the stars from the superstars. We've seen some players in the playoffs simply just not able to adapt. We look at you call them dubious handles. Dubious handles couldn't adapt. Guys on Atlanta couldn't adapt. Just certain players can't adapt.
Yeah.
Brunson, the Shai Gilgeous-Alexanders of the world, the Wembys of the world.
Yeah.
And I give him credit. They've made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, so you have to pay their flowers. The Donovan Mitchells of the world. They all figure out ways to adapt.
Oh, yeah.
Cleveland for this series. I think what's failed them here is one player and one player only.
Because we haven't talked about it.
And it's James Harden.
Yeah.
When Cleveland first acquired James Harden, we were both kind of hesitant to say who won the trade until we saw more of a sample size. Now that you've received this full sample size, I beg to ask you this question. Do you think that this series would look any different had it been Darius Garland over James Harden?
No, because we wouldn't be in the series. We would possibly have lost to the Raptors. I mean that with full love to Darius Garland. Okay. We possibly wouldn't have got there with Darius Garland, especially with the defense that RJ possibly would have put on him or whoever would have guarded over him. He's a smaller player. James Harden has completely failed the Cavaliers. We're not going to take anything away from what James Harden has done in the regular season.
Yeah.
He was an assist god. He got his guys included, especially the big men. He did a little bit in both of the previous series with Detroit and the Raptors. As soon as he had his bad games, he would come back and he would give you buckets while still giving you 11 assists. That's still something that you can hold on to. It's just really getting exposed right here in this series, especially with all the defense, all of the everything is just kind of combining where it is kind of exposing James Harden.
It is, and the pace too. I think you brought up a good point kind of earlier in the pod. It's talking about the pace that the Knicks are using against Cleveland.
You can't catch rhythm.
You
You
can't.
can never catch. I think what was it, 12 of 41 this last game? That is really hard to comprehend with. Like, you can't really bring that back up. If you're going 12 of 41 from the three, you're going to lose a game.
And I think turnovers too for the Cavs have kind of hurt them too. They do go because the thing that I've seen that the 3-0 deficit isn't really telling the whole story. Cleveland has made some runs in the game where I'm like, man, Cleveland can actually go ahead and take this game. It's the pace thing. I mean, it really is. They'll draw a foul at the perfect time. They'll hit a timely three at the perfect time. I think genuinely, and it's just unfortunate luck, I think the Cavs caught the Knicks right at their peak.
It was right at their peak, but I mean, the first game, you go on that 22 run, and then, of course, the last 7 minutes, the Knicks come back. I honestly believe that was the Knicks getting all the rust off. I think this series would have been, like, if the Knicks were going back and forth with Philly somehow, I think it actually would have been worse. If they were able to come back from 22 at the last 7 minutes after catching really like their feet under them, after having all the rust kind of being knocked off, that game would have been possibly a 25-point blowout. I think every single, like I said, I think the series is over. I think that the Knicks, they're too advanced at the moment for the Cavs. They are a very good team. Like we said, Cat being a facilitator is, you really can't make that up. I mean, Cat, when he's actually able to back down his defender and dish out the ball if that's getting cooked, it just creates so much space.
Yeah.
So much space, and you can do whatever you want with all of that.
Because, yeah, that's another thing, too. Cat's playmaking in this series has been phenomenal. I think he had 7 assists last night. I mean, for him to unlock that type of playmaking ability so late into the playoffs is such a
I wouldn't say so late. That's honest. Like, when they were losing Atlanta, what was happening? Cat wasn't passing the ball. It was Jalen Brunson. Like I said, he's been the passer, so he was kind of trying to get his guys included. That third game, what happened? Cat had like 9, 8 assists. They won.
And it's no disrespect. You got to keep in mind the level of defense that Brunson has seen the 2 previous series is so much greater than what the defense that he's playing now. And it's no disrespect. It's just James Harden's not a defender. I mean, that's a side of the court you could just simply take advantage of. Don's a good defender, but listen, Brunson's a superstar.
He's 12 times in a row.
He's what?
Take advantage 12 times in a row.
Apparently.
Now, one thing, because no bias, we know who I'm a fan of, whatever. Why does the coach not call timeouts when you see a huge run? Like, I feel like out of all the coaches that are in the finals right now, or the West Conference, you got Thunder coach, Mitch. They're pretty good coaches for Spurs and OKC. I think Mike Brown is a pretty good coach for the Knicks.
I think Kenny Atkins is also a good head coach. I just don't think he's a good head coach for the personnel that he is given. I'm going to be honest.
What coach will let an 18-1 run go without calling a timeout? If now, I think we have to put in this aspect. If you're up by a lot of points and you're seeing your lead just get cut down, not just every other possession. This is every possession. They're going back and scoring on you every single time.
It's all
you wouldn't call a timeout?
It's all very circumstantial on a lot of things.
Yeah.
I think calling a time. Here's the thing: calling a timeout. Obviously, with the new rules, you have to call timeout within certain minutes, which is crazy.
Yeah.
You know, I found out in the playoffs. I found out
that you have to call a timeout.
That you have to call timeouts during certain times. But here's my thing: calling a timeout. I think, especially now that we're so deep in the playoffs, that's a sign of, like, I don't want to say weakness, but you call a timeout after a run.
That's a sign of weakness. Then we're lost.
Then we're lost. I totally get it, but that's not what I'm really looking at for this series. Listen, Kenny didn't think he was going to have to coach James Harden this year. I don't think he was expecting that. James Harden's a non-coachable
James
player.
Harden has been on the team since February.
And he's a non-coachable player.
I can't say that because in that Detroit series when we were down 0-2, I think Kenny did a very great job coaching James Harden. Because when Kenny talks to the world, he's not speaking to the media. He's usually speaking to James Harden.
I think he did a great job at putting James in positions to succeed offensively.
So that's being a great player's coach to James Harden. You're not seeing that this series.
To James. That's the big thing. I'm
not gonna say that's where it starts. It always starts with Don. But if that's where we're kind of seeing that happen in Detroit when we were down 0-2. When we lose to the Raptors, it was always with James Harden. What does it tell you? That it stems from James Harden.
Yes.
It starts and it ends with James Harden. If we can start off good with James and he plays the game out right,
That's why I'm
then
very surprised that you
that's where
went
it's at.
That's why I'm surprised you went the other route. I thought you would have said that you guys would probably be like 2-1 or 1-2 with Darius Garland, because
No.
it's just the defense that you get from James. Actually,
You must have forgot
even
what's
know
happened
why
the
I'm
past
saying
couple
that.
years against New York. This is an every year thing.
I understand.
And with Darius Garland, I hope even down 0-3, somehow just looked a little bit worse, bro. They picked on that little man, and I like I said, DG's that's my favorite point guard in today's game. I swear to God,
Yeah.
They picked on him a lot.
So the reports did come out that regardless of whatever happens this series, James Harden is looking at a pretty
Yeah.
lucrative contract
Yeah.
extension from the Cavs. Mistake or the right deal?
I don't know. That's a hard one because in the regular season, we all know that James is one of the best. Still at 30, I think he's going to be 38 by that time. He gets all of his guys in the game. Like, even if you're having a down game, James Harden will find you and he will get you into the game, especially if you are big or somebody over 6'7". If you're over that height, look out for James trying to get you included into the game. It's just the playoffs. It's just such a bad track record. Such a bad track record, man. I don't know. I feel like you're not in like a win now mode unless you add on to it. Like if say in February when they got James, and we already know the reports that came out this week that it was going to be an Evan Mobley and Giannis trade that the Cavs actually declined. If you have Giannis, James, and Donovan Mitchell, that's a little bit different. If you're trying to strictly go through two guards, that's including James, that's not going to work. That's not a win now move.
I just don't. Here's my thing about James. I don't like James being the second guard on any team, period. James was never made to be a second guard. I think he's gonna run into the same.
But as a guard, like who's like carrying the ball up the court and who's dribbling more,
him and Don don't work. As much as we've seen flashes that they work together, they don't. Don plays defense. Don plays everything, and James simply is holding him back. And I know that sounds kind of crazy. He's holding him back defensively and offensively, because Don now knows that he basically has to shadow the other guard that James is guarding, because
but that's not Don's job. Don
It's
never
not Don-
Don no, but we're saying that Don doesn't do that. That's usually never Don's role. That's for the other guards that are not scoring as much as Don and James Harden. I mean, Draymond kind of said it best. When Steph is guarding James Harden or whoever he's guarding, we don't have him or the other, like Klay Thompson. We're not going to have them guard the other best player. There are not going to be any switches. It's going to be our defensive player or our role players like Max Strus, Merrill, Dean Wade. Those are who should be assigned to the guards. Like, hey, we need the points from you, but it's not as necessary as Donovan Mitchell and James Harden. That's your guys' job. It's not Don's job in James Harden. Now, can Don do it? Yes. Has he proven he can do it? Yes. It's not his job at all, especially not to shadow James Harden in a pick and roll. It's never his job.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the James stats here, and I'm just not liking him. I don't love him at all, and I don't love him.
I don't like him,
and I don't love him with Don. I just don't love, because James can do it all. He can shoot the three. He's a 3 level, but the problem is it just doesn't fit Don.
It doesn't fit Don for what a
doesn't.
championship or like just that in general. Because I mean, bro,
To win a championship.
These past 2 series when we won the games, Don and James look so pretty together, bro.
Don looks great. James looks good sometimes. Let's not.
Oh yeah, it's sometimes, but his good games, damn.
Sure, his good games are his good games are good. His bad games just really just overshadow.
When
the
Don
possession
had 26 and James had 30.
The possession last night in the fourth, where all 5 of the Cavaliers stopped playing defense and Brunson laid it in, I blame James. James is, and hold on, when James was traded to the Cavaliers, he was traded as a future Hall of Famer to that team to instill, I don't want to say leadership because we know that's Don's team. But that's not the type of play. You don't want to see James hands down by his side, letting Brunson get.
No.
I hate that. I hate it for the Cavs because the Cavs have so much talent. In my opinion, I think genuinely the Cavs are one of the most hindered teams.
It's a deep squad, but then what are we gonna say? The Knicks aren't deep. The Knicks are a pretty deep squad.
But put it this way: if you swap like a James Harden for a Derek White, we're not sitting here talking about how this series is over. We're sitting here talking about how this is a great series and how the Cavs could be looking at their first finals
apparently, if
appearance
Derek White is first
since
team all
LeBron.
defense over Scotty Barnes, and apparently we're not. I guess so.
No,
You're right. I guess.
But that's just an example. The
Yeah.
Derek
No,
White
I
thing
feel
is
you.
just an example
I feel you.
because you could genuinely plug in any guard that has decent ball handling with tremendous perimeter defense, and Cleveland is a completely different basketball team.
Yeah.
I love their bigs. I think Mobley and Allen, that is a championship front court. It's a championship level front court. I love the offense that I saw last night from Evan Mobley. He had 24. I thought he played well. I thought he played well offensively. My only knock to Mobley is that Mobley need to get more boards.
He got it when we. I'm not gonna say when we didn't need it. Of course, you need points for running, whatever. First quarter when we really needed it, Cap was putting straight body on him.
Sure,
put straight body on him when we needed to have. That's the one thing about the Cavs. If the Cavs don't start off good, she's not gonna end good. Like we have to usually have a pretty hot, not a hot start. We have to play with so much intensity in the first quarter, second quarter to really get going. Unless it's a close game. Like if it's not close, it's over with.
Can I ask you? Can I ask you one more Cleveland question? I want to ask you this question because I feel like it's kind of been a question for a lot of NBA fans' minds, just in general. We always see when we think of Evan Mobley, we're always thinking like, is there more to him? Has Mo peaked? Has he peaked in his career? Is he going to be this 20-7 the max, or do you think he's just being hindered by like the offensive system?
As long as he plays for the Cleveland Cavaliers, we have seen Evan Mobley's peak.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you think it's a coaching thing or just the personnel with how?
Can't say it's a coach thing because he's had multiple different coaches.
Okay.
Pretty good coaches too. That actually, two coaches who were just fighting to go into the Eastern Conference Finals. So I can't say they're bad coaches, especially not JB.
So you think Mob has peaked? Because listen, 18-9 is not bad. I'm not sitting here saying he's a bust or anything.
No. But what has his numbers been for the past 3 years? 18-9.
Yeah, it's been about the same. That's why I ask. That's why I ask. Because now,
and then not even that. Even because I think it was maybe a couple of 18.6 something like that compared to 18.3 last year. But you know what? That took away a little bit the defense. Like Evan Mobley, I think was his second defense team. He had no votes for first team at all.
No votes.
This is coming from the previous DPOY. They're taking away a little bit just to even have a little bit more of points. I think so.
Because he's 5 years in. At some point, we have to be like, all right, at some point, you're going to be a vet, bro. And this is going to be.
He is a vet at this point. And like I said, he has accolades like that. Teams for the year, even though it was for different reasons of Vic being injured or whatever, he still has it. He still has it. He's been an all-star.
He's only 24 years old.
Exactly.
That's why I'm so conflicted.
Like I said, I think if he's still on the Cavs, maybe it. Now, say if that Milwaukee trade did go through, you may see Evan Mobley unlock a whole new person.
But what would he unlock? You think he unlocks this
I'm thinking
trade ball?
His trade balls are his
trade ball's kind of
already kind of been unlocked. But he's been getting like that's the thing. When he doesn't think about the trade ball, it's a good shot. When he thinks about where he holds the ball, he'll get the ball, he hold it for 3 seconds and then shoot it. It's off. If he went to Milwaukee, I'm looking at possibly a 3-4 point jump up. That could be a 21, 22 point per game player.
Okay, I like that. Lastly, who wins game 4? I think you have to be respectful and give your team a win. I'm sorry. And I think it's just me.
They've popped all the air out of our bubble. It's most likely going to be another sweep for the Knicks. And I think they're going to have a good rest time before the finals for the first time in a long time.
I'm not an idiot. I think the Cavaliers do lose the series. I do think they'll win game 4, though. I think the Knicks will close out in 5. You got Don will not. Don. Not James, not Mo.
This is Don's first conference finals.
I don't care.
I care.
I don't care. Don will not let them get swept.
Took him 8 years to get there. It may take him another 5-6 years to get past it, brother.
Very, very embarrassing. I wish the Cavs fans would have showed up more instead of having just Knicks fans absolutely berate.
We couldn't. And you think that this is our fault, bro? What? So that means it was the Sixers' fault and Atlanta's fault when the Knicks.
You know what? The Knicks
stadium?
getting these home court advantage games for the away games this playoffs is starting to upset me so much. As a Western Conference fan myself, I would honestly, I would rather have the Spurs win.
You, that's good.
Than the Knicks.
If the Spurs or OKC, whichever one, which I know we're gonna get to, whichever one wins, I guarantee that you'll see at least 30% of Knicks fans, especially. Oh my God, in the finals, you're gonna see. You're gonna be like, okay.
No, I don't think it'll be like that.
I promise you it would. Even with the Thunder's crazy fans, guarantee you,
Not
you
the
will see a
finals.
lot of Knicks fans.
Sure,
They
you'll see.
no,
Sure.
they
You'll see
do it. They
Knicks
do it
fans.
every time,
Not like
especially in the
this.
finals.
Not like this.
I told you it was 41% of the people from New York and New Jersey that bought tickets, and they did it in the first hour. Don't even get a chance, baby. You don't even get a chance. You get your paycheck at 6. The Knicks fans are buying it at 5. I mean, what you want them to do? What do you want them to do, man?
I think to your point,
New York makes a lot of money.
OKC, San Antonio. I think that's a little different ballpark for them. A little too much dip on their chip.
No, mind you, I didn't say they're gonna win, but will their fans be there? Yes.
I think they'll be. I don't think it'll be like that.
It
You
won't
really
be
think so?
41%. I said 30. Like I promise you, 30%. They're in
10,
the finals.
15.
In the finals, do you know how long the Knicks fans waited for this? Do you know? No. Do you? If they're doing this, if they did this from the first series against Atlanta, do you think if they got to the finals,
Shit, I'll tell you what. That MSG ticket they get in gonna be $5,000 just to walk in there.
and who buys those? New
Actually,
York
you
fans.
know what? It might be more.
New York fans have the money to simply just blow on the.
Yeah,
on
of
the
course, them
tickets.
Knicks fans they could buy that. They just can't pay their own rent. Moving on. Like I said, I got Knicks in 5.
Come on, man.
Moving on. Moving on to the finals. To the real. You know what, that's disrespectful. I won't say the finals.
Yeah, come on. The
Moving on to
Western,
the Western
Conference,
Conference
finals. The finals.
This has been everything that we had hoped for as NBA fans. We're being fed. We're being blessed with just beautiful basketball.
Yes, we are.
Oklahoma City leads the series 2-1. We really haven't talked that much about.
I want to go. Honestly, I want to start this one. I want to go game by game.
Yeah, so go ahead.
Game
start off for us.
one. We know how that one went with Wemby having a generational game, 41-24. We talked about it a little bit on the clip.
Yep.
That was a very great game that we saw both teams just scrapping it out. I mean, double OT for the first game was you couldn't ask for more peak than that, I'll say. I think both teams played their hearts out. I think the one thing is that Shai didn't have a pretty good game in that first game.
No, he did not at all. And you look at the stats too. He had the 12 assists. Didn't do really much on the scoring end.
Yeah.
The first game really exposed Oklahoma City's interior defense at the time. Because, like I said, we'll get into like the other two games.
Yeah.
Wemby's average shot attempt was 4 feet, and he scored how many points? You said
41.
41.
All of his made buckets were right in that paint, except for the one, of course, D3
the 32.
that
Yeah,
pushed it to OT.
absolutely. But yeah, it was a great game. It was a generational game by Wemby. Wemby really imposed his will on really just about anybody who guarded
I
him.
think that came with a little bit more, though. I think the MVP with the Shai, like
Yeah,
it was a
course.
little bit more for Wemby that game, which we know. Now moving to game 2, that looks like a whole different scenery.
It did. It looked like a totally different Oklahoma City squad. I think they really made a conceited effort to guard Wemby with size on size rather than size on tenacity. I think first game you kind of saw Caruso guarding him. You saw a little bit of Jay Will here and there. You rarely saw a one-on-one matchup with Hartenstein and Chet Holmgren. And to your point, that second game, I think it's so funny that we talk about in the podcast. I'll tell you what, NBA makes us look so stupid sometimes. You and me sat here talking about, I said iHeart wouldn't be playable in the series, and that was the big topic of conversation, especially after the first game with him just logging 12 minutes.
Yeah.
After that first game, I think he had a little sit down with Mark Dagenau, and he said, listen, you're going to guard Wemby, and that's it. Nothing else. You're not going to.
Well, I mean, what are you going to go to him for scoring?
Hart is.
He's a facilitating big. Don't get it twisted.
Is an elite facilitating big. The way that he finds his cutters, sets up the pick and roll, the pick and pop.
But when you're guarding Wemby, you have bigger things to focus on.
You have bigger things to focus on.
I'll say this because I know they're going to be like, well, I mean, you guys were mentioning it all. Yes, it was some fouls. That is okay. But when you're guarding a 7'6" dude, that dropped 41.
Second game?
The second game.
Second game was fouled?
That was the one that we are. Honestly, it kind of
The third game. The third game. The fouled one. That's
Third game,
the fouled one.
I think there was fouls, but it wasn't.
It was on both
realistically
ends.
as bad as the second game. The second game, that was one that most people were talking about with the holding on the wrist, holding while trying to get a rebound. We know.
The Wemby files.
The
Wemby files.
It was pretty bad, but you did what you had to do to stop him from getting 41-24. I'll say that.
But we talked about this earlier. I think if Oklahoma City, we all knew that they were going to play at some point in the series. They were going to play very aggressive against Wemby. I don't think the Spurs did themselves any favors with the way that they guarded Shai on the perimeter. I think that kind of told the refs, we're going to let you guys play, and that's just going to be it. Hartenstein is absolutely just clamoring Wemby in the paint, like just fouling the absolute dog shit out of him. But the same prowess can be made for Stephon Castle on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Stephon Castle has been on Shai like a glove, and not in a good way.
I disagree.
He's been
that's
on him.
That's
like,
a complete different aspect.
He's been on him like the glove that OJ tried to put on in trial. It's not fitting.
That's a different
it's not
aspect.
Working.
That's so different. I feel like
it is because the
interior,
perimeter,
you're getting switched a lot. Like it's not always Castle that's guarding him, but that first game, to me, I think it's looking kind of the same defense. But in the first game, we all called it a great defense.
Because in the first game, I think San Antonio implemented the double a lot better. The double and the trap. They trapped Shai a lot in the first game, and they doubled him.
Trapped.
But
baseline,
like you said, it doesn't matter.
It was with two people at all times. It was usually with two people.
The second and third game, I think here's what scared San Antonio. San Antonio didn't think Alex Caruso was going to come out and be Steph Curry.
Because the first game, you guard him like he's Draymond Green.
Just shoot whatever.
And I think that does stem to Castle, but it also stems to Wemby. Wemby, he kind of, not like he had to play him, but in the paint, it would be a stretch line about there.
Yes.
Where you don't necessarily.
Wemby would always play 5.
He would always play the 5, no matter what. He was looking for Shai to drive in. He was so focused on what Shai was going to do with the ball. And every single time you saw Alex Caruso get the ball, you see Wemby try to stretch out. Didn't work.
It didn't work.
And now it's one of the worst things. We talked about this a little bit for the pod. He was talking about he's maybe a top 10 whatever role player.
I think
when you get Alex Caruso going like that, it doesn't stop. That's something we have learned for the past 5 years. You cannot let Caruso go because then he will get hot and then he's gonna talk the whole time.
True. And another thing with AC is we talked about this earlier too. AC is a heater player. It's not that he got hot this game, he's just gonna be hot for this game. No, it's the whole series now.
But it's not with scoring. It's not simply with scoring. AC gets everything. Like the game.
Had a plus 28 plus minus.
Game 3, I know we're going to get into that one also, which has another different aspect. Game 3, we see the Spurs are going this huge 15-0 run. Where did it start for the Spurs for OKC to get back?
Starting off for Alex Caruso.
Started with Alex Caruso. Alex Caruso getting that little turnover once they had scored the first bucket. You see him on the floor. He gets all riled up. Whatever. Then he scores a bucket the next play. Like that's what gets a team going, especially for OKC, because they love Caruso. Like they'll kill for that dude, bro. They love Caruso because they know that he would do 10 times more for them simply to get into the right place of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Another aspect I want to talk about in this game, because we talked about Stephon Castle's defense, whatever. Yeah. Just Stephon Castle in general. Stephon Castle, he's 17, he drops to 17, 25, 14. That's cool. It's the turnovers.
Yeah.
Turnovers.
It wasn't as bad this last game, but the first two have what was it, 20, 24?
The first two were horrendous. It was a bad look. And listen, his latest performance, he shot 1 of 8. Now, it really wasn't the turnovers. It was the 1 of 8 shooting.
I'm not going to say it's not fair. You're a basketball player who's a guard, and you played at UConn, so you need to have a little bit of smartness in you regardless.
Yeah.
But I think with Fox being out for those first 2 games did put a lot on him that he did not expect to have to do against OKC. Like, I mean, you got to think about how good OKC's guards defense is for you to go over to, and what is Stephon Castle, maybe 23, 22?
Totally agree.
That's a lot to handle because he didn't play bad at all. To me, even with those turnovers,
they still were in a position to win.
And I think this is the first time we've seen a player get 20 turnovers and we're not looking like, damn, he sold the game. He didn't really sell the games. Like, it's just how good the defense was.
And I want you to stay with me here for what I'm about to say, because you're going to have to stay with me. They are a better team with De'Aaron Fox, holistically, yes.
Yeah.
Like I said, we talked about this earlier too. Once we get so deep into the playoffs, like now, there's going to be stuff like injuries. There's going to be stuff like rhythm and just making sure that you're hot. I think because the Spurs entered this series without De'Aaron Fox, kind of heated on a heater, I think De'Aaron Fox actually kind of messed up the rhythm of the game for those guys. Not in because hold on, De'Aaron Fox came out. He came out of the game. He came out of the game well, driving it well. He got some 2 easy layups to go after that. But after those 2 easy layups, Dylan Harper did not have the Dylan Harper games that we saw from the last 2 games. Why? Because he's now coming off the bench. So I think
which he should be. I hate to say yes.
Starting or bench?
Bench.
Bench. Sure. But it's kind of. I don't
And
want to.
and then
veer
that
off too
goes
much.
because he's still a young player, but that goes into how well you can come off the bench. There's a lot of players that can come off the bench.
And I think Dylan Harper is just a better
McCain included,
starter.
that can come off the bench and still have that same fire hot, whatever you need.
And I actually think it hurt them in this game. And I'm not saying OKC won because
Now,
OKC won.
I don't know. I think that the third game, that is completely different. That is OKC's bench outscoring OKC starters, the Spurs starters, and the Spurs bench. Like I think that's.
I'll leave it at this. It'll look really weird if Oklahoma City wins tonight in De'Aaron Fox plays. I'll just say that. It'll look really weird.
Why?
You went to the
You
two
won,
games that
you won one game.
The one game that you won.
With Harper playing.
You
That
didn't
was the first game. They stole one game from you guys.
That's the one game you win. It would just look kind of weird, especially
Like I
with
said,
Fox
came out
wasn't
pretty good. The two
wasn't a
layups,
fan.
he had the three.
Sure,
He was passing like I don't
wasn't a
think that
fan
was
of the
like,
3-point attempt that he took towards the end of the game though.
Yeah.
When San Antonio was still
Yeah.
in it, he took a 3-point shot where they were on a fast break. Not a fan of that shot selection whatsoever. I'm not saying that Fox is hurting them or anything like that. Because like I said, I think they're a better team. I do think though, because they were on this rhythm and they had just beat OKC at home,
Right.
I think him coming back kind of just it moving Dylan Harper back to the bench. It kind of messed the rhythm.
So what
up.
about the second game? Because Harper started. What about the second game?
Coming in?
Fox didn't play the second game. He
either.
played the third game, and they lost.
OKC wasn't going to lose two at home. That's just simple. And to your point, it was the Wemby foul.
So you're saying if Harper played in that third game like he started, and OKC's bench with McCain dropping,
I think Fox should come off the
whatever.
bench. Yeah, I thought
you think that with
thought Harper
everything
should
the
start.
OKC bench did, and Shai still having a nice, very good game. That,
no, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that they would have won or lost. I'm just saying I think Harper should have started. I just think a guard, to have that many points and that many rebounds on that efficiency, with his size, the way he was driving to the cup on bigger men. Yeah, I thought he should have started. I think you, especially in the playoffs, that's where you stick with the hot hand. You put your ego to the side. We're trying to win games here. I don't care about your contract. I don't care about the incentives. Dylan, you just dropped 27 in a playoff game, and you simply won. Dylan Harper won them that game in game one. Not Wemby. Wemby had a great game.
Who started to replace J-Dub in the third game? Who started for him?
AJ. Then he got hurt.
Oh yeah, he did. No, I thought. Oh yeah, he's not playing game 4.
And that's another thing that we're gonna have to
Yeah,
talk about. Is the injuries in the series.
Yeah,
the injuries in the series have been. I think that's the one thing that kind of just. If there's tarnish on this series, it's the injuries. Even though we've still been blessed.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Because OKC, they're the one team that you can have an injury, even 2 or 3 of them, and another guy just steps up.
Yes, I do think that AJ, even though AJ Mitchell,
if J-Dub or AJ Mitchell is playing that full game or whatever, is Jared McCain coming out that hot? Now, mind you, went 2 for 10 from 3, but he also went 10 or 21. Is Jay Will
made every 2?
Is Jay Will going 5 or 6 from the 3? No,
that's true.
He may go 2 or 3 for 4. He's not giving you the 17, 16 points that he gave you. I'll tell you that. He's not getting all the time that he gave you.
And to your point, like guys like AJ Mitchell, that's an AR merchant. That's an AR merchant. That's an Austin Reeves
AR
merchant. He's a
good player. We're not gonna get to. He's a good player.
He comes off a series where he was averaging over like 20-something points, and he just 4 points, 10 points, 2 points. While he's put up stinkers this entire series, I still think OKC needs him just as the body of it's AJ Mitchell.
They do, but I think it's all about scouting reports. Like I mean, like if you're the Spurs, you look at what he was doing to the Lakers, especially with how Shai played in that series where he didn't have the best series, and even against the Suns, he didn't have the best series. I think that's not like your focus. Of course, Charlotte's gonna be focused on the back-to-back MVP. That's rule number 1, of course, whatever. But I think that they had a lot of focus on AJ Mitchell, where they were like, "This is not gonna happen. Like we will not let a role player."
Their secondary, no, not even the role player, because at the time you start, you can't let the secondary guard get going
at all.
And I think what hurt San Antonio most is instead of letting the second guard get going, they let the 5th guard off the bench get going, which I think hurt them.
AC, he does a lot, and McCain, he's unlocking some stuff right now. Like we're seeing firsthand that he's unlocking a lot of stuff. Like we already know he has the shot, but him driving, that much and actually putting a body. I mean, he had a 2-1 where he was on his own run by himself to get a steal. Goes up on Cornet and Stephon Castle, and you're just looking like, okay, this may be a little foul, maybe it's freaked up. Body, bucket, foul shot, a 3-point play like that's what gets you going because that's you unlocking a new achievement almost like you're kind of you're unlocking some
100%.
stuff.
I'm gonna ask you the $1 million question here. Who's gonna win the series?
This all depends on Game 4. If OKC
Does
wins
it
Game
really?
4,
yes, OKC wins Game 4.
If OKC wins Game 4, they're not gonna lose 2 in OKC. Not the Spurs.
I also don't think the Spurs are gonna lose 2 in San Antonio. I think the Spurs will win tonight.
If anybody could do it, it's OKC. But I do believe that the Spurs. I don't think the Spurs bench will not play that bad, but I think they'll just give them more than they did in Game 3. Yes, they will.
I 100% agree with you. That's not the problem here.
Yes, it is.
The problem, it is.
And if Wemby, like you said, if he can get his teammates going in,
their bench tonight could score 120 points, and it still wouldn't be as many points as the OKC bench.
Okay, so what you're saying that you need to sub OKC's bench when they come in? Because then what are you going to shift all your focus?
No, San Antonio simply needs to go back to their brand of basketball and not play this stupid leave him open game. They're playing this stupid leave him open game, and it's not going to work.
But then that takes, I promise you, they're doing it for it. That takes Wemby out of the paint, and that's where Shai gets to go.
And that's where that's the problem, and that's where most of these casuals see 7-6 Wemby, and they're like, San Antonio is going to win, man. Yes, San Antonio, they still have a great chance to win the series. I'm not knocking them or anything. Oklahoma City's worst player is a 6th man on somebody's team.
Yeah.
Their worst player, Aaron Wiggins. That's so crazy to say. Kenny Hustle. Kenny's worse than Ken.
We're talking about people who get minutes.
Yes.
It's probably a Wiggs, and that's somebody that's coming in for their little bunch out.
2 minutes left.
2 minutes left of the game.
With Topic. They putting him in with Topic.
Whatever with Topic, he wanted to score, bro.
Yeah, he wanted to score bad. I saw that last week. He wanted to score bad.
He got in the game, bro. Dribble for 20 seconds. He didn't get nothing, bro. I felt bad. I was damn.
San Antonio can't play that game and leave him open. They did that, especially late in the fourth. I believe they started to come back, make a little run, bring it down to 10. They brought it down to 10. Shai whipped the pass over the head of everybody to Casey Wallace, who was standing in the corner by himself. He could have ate a sandwich and drank a beverage.
and
take the shot.
Took the shot, right?
And he drilled it, and it's simply that's what it is.
Yeah.
You can't do that. You're gonna have to play 1-on-1. But then you go play 1-on-1 against OKC, and that's when you still get barbecued anyway.
Yeah.
So you got to pick your poison. But
I agree.
Like I said, who wins the series? Let's hear it.
I'm gonna go with OKC. I think these 2 games in a row, it's shown me a little bit. But once again, like I said, I feel like it could be where they both just steal the first game at the other person's home, and maybe the Spurs they come back out, stop the bench a little bit, and get some more help for Wemby. Maybe it looks a little bit different because 2-2 compared to 3-1 is so much different. I mean, damn.
And it's different too.
This
go down 3-1.
This is one of the most crucial games. Like when you're up 2-1. That's a crucial next game. I'm like that's compared to game 7.
That next game, you're not going to Utah. You're going to Loud City. So it's a lot different. I think it's going to be hard. Of course, any closeout game would be hard for the opposing team to win. But if OKC wins tonight, I hate to say it, they might wrap that up in a gentleman's sweep.
It still goes based off experience. Like there's so much more experience in the Spurs.
Which me even just saying that just doesn't sound right. So I'm going to say the Spurs win tonight, and it still goes 7. I like OKC in 7, but for the Spurs to get gentleman's swept, I mean, a lot has to go wrong.
I'm gonna say the Thunder and possibly 6. Like my thought process really changed over these past few games. I'm gonna say Thunder and 6.
I like that. I got OKC in 7. So it's Knicks, OKC. We've both come to that consensus that that's going to be the NBA Finals.
Yes.
Okay, OKC in 4 for that one. Let's move on. My bad.
Little knockout.
That's a knockout punch.
Little knockout. Little knockout. We got some stuff to talk about.
We do.
We got some stuff to talk about.
We haven't talked about this in ages.
We're gonna get into UFC Freedom 250. We'll get into that. We've had some news come out this past week.
Yes, and we've been putting it off. I don't know why.
We've got some news that came out this past week.
The return of the Mac. Conor McGregor returns International Fight Week to fight Max Holloway. I don't even know why I
The
started. That's a great
rematch,
fight.
man.
The rematch.
What are your thoughts, bro?
Entertainment wise, I'm super excited. Obviously, I'm super excited for the card's going to be built up. Let's not kid ourselves. The fight's going to be great. The fight in itself is going to be a stinker, ladies and gentlemen. I think Conor is going to get absolutely mauled. Here's the thing. Conor hasn't fought in 5 years. The leg, he got the broken leg. He got the rod in the leg. He's been snorting coke.
I disagree.
God knows what he's been doing. Whoa.
If anybody can come back after 5 years of all the legal troubles, broken leg, anything like that, that's Conor McGregor. It's no other person you can tell me that can come back after 5 years and do what Conor can do. And you want to know why? Because this whole thing is built off of confidence, man. It's always built off of confidence. If Conor McGregor feels that he can whoop, or it feels like he can go in there, I think this could be a great fight. Now, has Max been involved with the UFC forever? Yes. Max is straight gym, UFC, and go home and play the game with his family, whatever. Like that's Max's.
And the game
whole
he's
motto.
playing is UFC 5.
Or Raiders. But that's Max's thing. But this could be a great fight. This could be a pretty good fight.
For me, it's the speed discrepancy. I think Max is so much faster than Conor.
But Max is going up in weight. It's not going to look the same.
I don't think he's going to lose that much. Because now, basically, this is just Max fighting it. Like, Max won't have to. Max won't have to lose. He won't have to cut. So you're saying Max is going to be fully energized. And I really don't know what Conor's walk-around weight is. Because let's not shit ourselves. I feel you. He's been tested 8 times. His piss is clean.
Yeah.
His piss was not clean 8 months ago. I don't care. So.
But it looks like he's been training, bro. It looks like he's been training. Now, I will say this. We should have got this fight a long time ago because we already know that first fight, we saw Conor. He was with all his kung fu stuff. He had him on the ground. He was trying to show
Conor, yeah.
He was trying to show like his ground movements. And Max was just 21. He was so young. You could tell like, it wasn't there. They fell in their primes. Who's winning that? Prime Max. I'm talking about like 2018, 2020 Max versus Conor McGregor, 2017.
I think Max just has too many answers to the call. Really? I think here's the thing, and I love Conor to death. Conor has the left hand. That's it. And Conor has the left hand. He can do he can do the jab, the hook.
Yeah, I don't know. You
uppercut.
got the question mark kick. You got the left hand. I mean,
hold on. These kicks are now going to be hindered off of that leg. People forget.
5 years ago.
It was 5 years ago.
He has a rod in his leg.
This is a Chris Weidman type of injury, though. There was a steel rod. There's still a steel rod inside of his leg. For him to listen, I'm not saying he's going to be unable to throw kicks. Yeah. He's going to have to. He'll lose. If he can't kick at all, forget it. This is over in one round. My problem with Conor is he hasn't fought in so long. The hunger for me isn't there anymore.
It is, and I think Max coming off a loss to Charles, but you can't tell me that Conor could even do maybe 5 minutes of what Charles did in that whole BMF fight to keep him on the ground. So it's simply going to be just a straight stand and bang. Yeah, it's gonna be a stand and bang. But also,
and you think Conor's chin has been sitting in nothing but palm trees and coconut oil, and you think he's just gonna take Max Bless Holloway on the chin?
I think it's gonna be a decent fight. I think we're gonna actually see a very good fight.
Can I get a prediction?
I promise you. Huh?
Can I get a prediction?
It goes to 5, right? It's 5 or is it 3? I think Conor's pushing for 3. Is it 3 rounds or 5?
I don't think they.
If it goes to 3. I'm going to say a decision. I think it goes for a decision. If it goes to 5.
And wait, decision who?
Decision probably for Max.
Okay, so Max wins. All right.
If it goes to 5.
If it goes to 5, mind you, one of these UFC fighters has been fighting the whole time and the other one hasn't fought in 5 years. And you think he's just going to 5-round it up?
I said it was going to be a good fight. I didn't say Conor was going to win. I think that if there's anybody that can come back from 5 years, I said that Conor could be the person. That's all I said.
All right.
I think that Max does win regardless, but I'm excited to see Conor come back. I will say that. I'm excited to see him come back.
It's going to be amazing to see the one.
But you're saying like he's going to get shat on. Like you think he's going to get knocked out in the first round?
I think he gets knocked out. I don't know if it's in the first. He's going to get knocked out. He'll get TKO'd.
I don't know.
Dude, this is a guy that's been doing nothing but sniffing blow for the past 5 years. It's over.
But for the past 8 months, he's been training. Because that's the thing. Even when he was on coke, he was so training. It's just his piss wasn't clean. Now his piss is clean. Hey, a clean piss is
man.
Clean piss is always the best feeling. You can't. I don't know what to tell you, bro.
Knocked out in the third. That's my prediction. I got Max. Ooh, because if it is 5, it don't matter. Max in 3. Max in the third round.
3.
or the second round, doesn't matter.
Max in 3.
But just the card in general. Obviously, we're excited about that. The card in general, though, you got on for the co-main, you have Patty Pimblett versus Benoit Saint Denis. That's going to be a great fight too. Who you got for that fight?
I'm gonna say Patty. I'm gonna say Patty, especially off of the loss he's coming off of with Justin.
I think we really
Scorchers never get knocked out.
We got really turned on by pause. We got really turned on by his chin. Pause. There's no way for me to word that correctly. His chin was a lot better than we had thought in that Gaethje fight. That I think we're always going to give Patty a chance against.
That made me, even though Justin's GOAT, top 2 GOAT, Patty turned like he made me a fan of that fight. Somehow with him getting his ass whooped,
made me a fan.
Patty made me a fan of him that night because I mean he took everything and was still going.
Who's your prediction?
I'm gonna say Patty. I'm gonna say Patty.
I got Patty, so I got Patty by sub. Last fight on this card that I want to talk about, one that you actually, I don't even think you know where I'm going to pivot here because I do want to talk about this one fighter.
Hopefully,
Gable Stevenson is going to be fighting in his
versus.
Gable Stevenson's going to fight in his first UFC fight at heavyweight against Elijah Ellenson.
Yeah.
If he wins this fight in dominant fashion, I see no reason why he shouldn't be ranked immediately.
But where are you going to rank him?
He's one of the greatest wrestlers.
Where are you going to rank him at?
In the heavyweight, in the weak-ass heavyweight division? 10? Top 10? Listen, I fully am expecting
maybe 8
Gable
or 9 or something like that, yeah.
I'm fully expecting Gable to absolutely just ground, like what John Jones did to Cyril Gane is what I'm expecting. This is one of the greatest wrestlers we've ever seen
in the world.
I knew who Gable Stevenson was before this whole UFC thing. I knew who he was before that. We all knew who he was before that.
We knew who he was. I don't know about before. I watched UFC a long time.
No, not UFC. Not before UFC. Before he joined the UFC. We all knew who he was.
I mean, we've been talking about him joining UFC for the past 5 years now.
Exactly. So I think now, especially training with the GOAT, John, I think.
And John shows him a lot of respect also.
His ascension is going to be immense.
I want to move over to UFC Freedom before we close this one out. This has been a great pod, by the way.
Absolutely.
We got Justin Gaethje once again, my number 2 GOAT versus Ilya.
Who's your number 1 GOAT?
Freedom. Kamara, don't do that.
Okay,
you know,
right. I knew that.
Don't you ever do that
ever
again in your life. But Justin, I think he's probably my favorite to watch fight. You know this. I love Justin.
The highlight, man.
We're gonna have to see my guy get mauled. Hopefully, I don't know if this is possible. Maybe he could bring like a gun or like a pocket knife into the fight, and we'll see if that can maybe.
Good luck getting that into the Oval Office, young man. Anyway, Ilya Justin, that is so messed up for them to do that to Justin.
Hey, Justin, Justin's been asking for it for years.
Justin, you want to fight for the real belt? Oh, by the way, it's at the White House. You got to get knocked out in front of like everybody.
But Justin, this is all that he's really honestly wanted. So I mean, will he get knocked out? Yes. Does he want it? Yeah.
I think that's the thing that sucks is when you look at these two fighters on paper, you're super excited for the fight. You're super excited to see what these two can bring to each other. But
this card is so stacked. I'm absolutely this fight. This card is stacked.
But the problem is when you look at Justin Gaethje with his age going up against a guy like Topuria, who's literally in the prime of his career, who can go to the ground. Obviously, we know he can stand, but can go to the ground. More specifically, if Justin does find a way to make it ugly, nah.
I think it's so much different. I think Justin's last fight winning against Patty was craziest fight I think I've seen in a while because he had no strategy. It was simply just throw your hands and
he fought smart as well. I felt like
in that fight, Justin did against Patty
in the early rounds when he was able to stun Patty. I felt like yes. Towards the latter rounds, I felt like he was a little stupid.
Patty had 25% of the smartness of Ilya to really catch him while he's about to throw one,
Justin would have been out.
Justin would have got knocked out.
Yeah,
I don't think you realize from round 1, Justin was completely throwing his hands no matter what. There was a couple overhands, hooks, some kicks, but it was no strategy at all. It was simply just throw punches, which we've never seen from Justin.
It just sucks that strategy won't matter in a fight where Justin's going to get knocked out in the first round.
You know what? Let's skip past because you disrespected my guy.
Hold on. First round knockout. Agree? Can you agree? I know that's your goal.
Second round.
Because we're not saying TKO here. We're saying KO.
Yeah.
The McGregor fight, we can say TKO. This is a KO. This is a unconscious. They're gonna have to bring you into the White House infirmary.
I'm gonna say second round. Knockout. No, he's not getting my guy in the first round. I'm not gonna do that. You're not gonna do that to my dude.
He's gonna get knocked.
It's
out
gonna be a
first.
first round knockout.
Moving on to the co-main event, Alex Poatan moves up to the heavyweight for the interim belt against number 1 ranked Cyril Gane. You know what my problem with this card is? It's a great card. I'm foaming at the mouth with this card. UFC freedom, and then like the rest of the fights are like no American. I just think it's weird.
Hey, we got Josh versus Derek Lewis. That's gonna be a good fight. Michael Chandler's fighting on it. Like almost every single fight has an American. Don't do that.
I know. It's just
except for that fight with Alex Pereira, they all other ones have Americans.
Yeah, you was right. Now that I'm looking at
it,
but
Pereira versus Cyril Gane, which I'm pretty excited for. Also, I think for every Alex Pereira fight, there's always a month or two before where people somehow try to switch up on Alex Pereira. This time, you know what it is?
I'm not going
his weight. Oh, he's moving slower. He is all the videos that we see where he's training. He does look a little bit slower.
That's fine.
It's after 50 rounds of practice and training, 50 rounds, and then they'll record, and it's now he looks fat. Now he looks overweight. He looks slower down.
I think this is a nightmare matchup for Cyril Gane.
Yeah,
I think you're now fighting somebody that can match your speed at heavyweight. I think that's so dangerous. Cyril Gane's a horrible wrestler. We know he's not going to wrestle. He's horrible at wrestling. I think Alex is going to work that leg, and he's going to work that body, and it's just
I don't think it's going to be a fast fight. I think that Cyril Gane, he's not going to just simply go out like I did against.
No, I think Gane will be finished. I think I don't think he'll go to decision. I think
can agree,
he'll finish.
But I'm thinking a round 3, round 4 finish, not a round.
Of course, yeah, round 3, round 4 TKO.
Yeah. I agree. But Alex, I think he will also have a little bit of speed. Yes, he's a little bit heavier, but I think he will also have that speed and especially the power. Yeah. I mean, Jesus Christ. Third fight, I just want to talk about the last 2 fights. Sean O'Malley versus Zabi, whatever.
Zabi.
That could be a great fight.
He's good, man.
I don't know if Sean wins this fight. I don't know if Sean wins this fight.
Hold on. I do think Sean wins this fight simply just because I think he has more finesse with his striking.
He has more finesse. If this goes to decision and we're looking at how many punches were thrown and how many were actually efficient.
They give it to Zabi.
I would.
They give it to Zabi.
Yeah.
But I do think Sean will. Listen, Sean's been kind of under the radar recently. I don't know why.
We know why. Marab made him under the radar. But he's been, like you said, on the radar. But what has he been doing on the radar when he fights?
Exactly. So I think if he wins against Zahabi here, uncomfortable conversations start again.
We got to go through it again. Yes, and now it's some more fun because when Rob's not champ, we have Jan, and we know how Sean feels about Petr Yan. So we'll leave it there. We'll leave
Jan looks. Jan, that fight against Marab looked just as unstoppable as an Ilya and Islam.
If they fought Jan versus O'Malley.
Jan
right
would
now,
win.
I think that Jan would. Yeah,
Jan would probably win. But the only problem is the one disadvantage is I think it's kind of another matchup nightmare because the distance that I think.
You can't say height and distance because the way that Jan, and I know Marab is short, but if you look at how Jan was catching it.
That's how Sean won the first fight against Jan. Yes, he won by a controversial decision, but
controversial with Jan being only 50% of what he showed us in that last fight. I mean,
that's true.
The weight, because it wasn't like it was all street wrestling. I mean, he showed us that was honestly one of the best performances I think I've seen out of a UFC fighter in the past 5 years, where he 100%. Just could not be stopped.
But I got Sean winning
at all. All right, that's fair. We have another American fight. It's the last one we're going to talk about. Derek Lewis versus Josh. Josh has been on a pretty crazy PR run in the past.
He has, and I think it's
4 months.
I think it stops here.
It should stop here.
I think. Listen, his cardio was horrendous in that fight.
We can't talk about cardio.
Yeah,
we can't. No, it's not even that. It's just against Derek Lewis.
It's
My balls are hot, Derek Lewis. I don't know about that.
And this is the only time where I'll take measurements into consideration. He's going to outweigh him by probably about 30 pounds.
Now,
and usually when you outweigh somebody, that means that the other person's going to have a reach advantage. No. Derek Lewis is going to have a 6-inch reach advantage here.
But I feel like Blaze almost we haven't talked about that either. Him versus Blaze, Josh versus Blaze was honestly one of the best heavyweight fights that I think I've seen in my life. Mm-hmm. Josh showed us a lot. I mean, he shows that he can stand
like an idiot though.
A straight idiot that can stand and bang and actually take hits though.
Yeah, but Blade's fights like a high
Blaze said on the stream, he said, I thought I knocked him out 4 different times. I thought the fight was over 4 different times. Josh doesn't necessarily go down. And I know like we have a very short example of how that happened, but I think Lewis versus him will actually be a great fight. I won't be surprised if it goes to decision and either one can actually take the dub.
Give
I'm
me
being
the
very
Black
serious.
Beast in the second round.
The balls is hot.
Second round
Balls is
knockout.
hot.
That's all I got today for you.
Great pod.
That's all I got.
Great pod.
I'm Damian Dustin.
Aiden Jones, thank you so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen.
Peace.
Let's just get wild.